Hi, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Welcome back to another one of our YouFit times EatLove Nutrition webinars. My name is Ali Zozos. I'm EatLove's lead dietitian, and I also support our webinars each month on topics that are highly requested by your team, your community, things that we keep hearing just with trends of the year and, the seasons of the way things move. So today's talk is all about plant-based living. So I'm going to be really excited to talk about that with all of you today. But before I dive in, as always, I love to run polls just to get a better idea of who I have in the audience today, because anyone that is in the YouFit stratosphere, new members, prospective members that have been members for years, are invited to these webinars to come learn about really topical nutrition webinars. So I'd love to just get an idea of what type of membership you currently have. And the options are not currently a member, basic plan, premium, and premium plus. For those lucky members that are on the Premium Plus membership already, you may not already know this, but you have access to EatLove already. So I'm going to show you how to get started with that today. And for anyone that is on a basic or premium or prospective member, you can speak with your front desk about upgrading to that Premium Plus membership that comes with an EatLove membership. And I'll show you a little bit more about what we do at EatLove to help you with your nutrition and personalized health goals, health and wellness goals. But before we get into that, the topic of the day is plant-based living. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and how to embrace plant-based living. One of my favorite topics to review, because it's not, I know plant-based has a couple of definitions. Most recently, it's been referred to as like a vegan plan. I view plant-based living as very much predominantly plants, not 100% plants, and we can still incorporate some animal products in there. So it's not going to be as strict and rigid as something that's like an entirely vegan diet. While there are numerous benefits, there's also deficiencies that can arise with certain types of eating patterns. So I like things that are well balanced and fit together when we're not really restricting ourselves, but we're eating what feels good in the moment and kind of choosing our meals based off that. And I'm going to show you how EatLove can line up with all that good stuff. So we're going to learn about the basics of health and wellness of a plant-based diet, how to avoid potential nutrition pitfalls, learn meal planning and cooking tips, and then, of course, YouFit's in-house nutrition program. So what is a plant-based diet? Plant-based is really what I want to hinge on today, because it's not fully all the time, predominantly. It's like based. When we look at our plate, we want to have 75% plants, but what is that 25%? It'll be some sort of, it could be an animal product. It could be like cheese, dairy, salmon, chicken, that sort of thing. But it doesn't mean we're eliminating those things. So its primary goal as plant-based is to emphasize whole, nutrient-dense plant foods. So it focuses on, no surprise, fruits and vegetables, whole grains, legumes, nuts, seeds, plant-based proteins, and plant oils, my favorite being olive oil, which I consume. The most highest part of my diet is highest part of fats in my diet is probably olive oil. And it's limiting, not avoiding or restricting meat, eggs, and dairy. Why I love this so much is because it's not restrictive. It's not a restrictive plan of things have to be 100% vegan. I think I ate vegan for 3 days at a conference I was at, and I was like, I could not live this way. I never felt satiated after my meals. I needed a little bit of something. So I know personally that way of eating would not be for me. But I love the option of where we don't really need to fit into a mold or define the way that we eat. The way that we eat is our diet. First and foremost, you can choose a vegan diet. You can choose a vegetarian diet. You can eat pescatarian, however you want to start that category. But there is no definition of what fits you best. That is your personal diet, and that's what we're going to help discover today. So what are the benefits? No surprise, lower risk of inflammation, chronic diseases, weight management, and of course, digestive health. And to go into a little bit more detail, when we are eating foods that contain antioxidants, phytochemicals, fiber, omega-3 fatty acids, these are associated with anti-inflammatory effects. So of course, when we're incorporating more of these plant-based options here, by default, we're getting antioxidants, we're getting phytochemicals, we're getting more fiber. So that's going to help reduce inflammation in our bodies, both chronically and acute and even systemic as well. So Lowering our risk for chronic diseases, plant-based diets have been associated with the reduction of certain types of cancers, heart disease, and type 2 diabetes. And for a good reason of this, I believe fiber has a huge piece of this, not just for heart disease and type 2 diabetes, that when our bodies are more satiated and we are getting more of that whole grain option in there, it's keeping our cholesterol levels managed, it's keeping our blood sugar levels managed. So really a two-pronged solution when it comes to just chronic conditions is let's just make sure we get enough fiber. And how do we get fiber? We get fiber from plants that are whole grains, plants that are nuts and seeds, plants that are fruits and vegetables. So if anyone out there listening today is like, what is the first thing I can do to improve my health and wellness? Take a peek at if you are getting enough fiber in your diet and where those fiber sources are coming from, because I can guarantee you that switch alone, if you're getting 15 grams of fiber, we increase that to about 25 grams a day for women and 36 grams a day for men. You're going to have a huge impact. It's not going to feel like a lot. It's going to be like a 1% improvement, but long-term, that change is going to have drastic positive effects on your health and longevity. Weight management. So focusing on whole nutrient dense foods may contribute to weight loss. Again, that fiber piece is going to help us feel fuller longer. When we are balancing out our intake of carbohydrates and having a well-balanced plate of macros and fiber present, we don't overeat. And we can also, of course, contribute eating slower meal times that contribute to that. But that's going to help us maintain a healthy weight. We're not going to overdo our energy because we're going to feel really in control of our choices. And due to that lower calorie density and that increased fiber intake, we tend to lose weight more naturally. I'm not talking about these drastic weight loss measures where we're restricting our calories down to 1,200 calories a day. I think if you guys have been attending these webinars for a while, you know that I joke about this, but I'm in all seriousness, 1,200 calories a day is what is required by a toddler. No one that is our age, male or female, should be consuming 1,200 calories a day if the goal is for a weight loss purpose, like a very drastic weight loss purpose. Now, there are some considerations. You could just be very, very low body weight. Then, of course, your energy will balance out. But generally speaking, the majority of the population, that 1,200 calorie range is not going to be safe and sustainable long term. So how do we find an energy deficit that is going to be most suitable for us? I'll show you how that works in EatLove later today. Knowing that you can incorporate a weight loss goal with any chronic conditions or preventative chronic conditions, and maybe you have a family history, a familial history of having diabetes in the family or heart disease that you want to kind of prevent. You can actually do both at the same time, which I think is pretty cool. Digestive health. Again, high fiber strikes again. The content of plant-based foods diets support digestive health by promoting regular bowel movements and healthy gut microbiome. So we want to make sure that fiber, and you can see in this picture here, we have some greens, we have some farro in here. I think that's a farro. Chia seeds, a great fiber food. We have some figs, also high in fiber, and I believe there's some strawberries in there as well. Lori has a great question. Hi, not sure if I'm a member or not. I have silver sneakers and my insurance pays for me. Fantastic. So it depends on your YouFit membership, Lori. So if your YouFit membership is a premium plus, you definitely have access to EatLove. I'd recommend to check out with your home front desk to double check what type of membership that you have at YouFit. So how do we avoid potential pitfalls? So we want a variety of foods. We don't just want one single plant food. We don't want to eat cucumbers every day. We want cucumbers and carrots and avocado and tomatoes. Maybe not all at the same meal, but we can definitely incorporate more of those at once. Consume a protein. This can be beans, lentils, tofus, edamame, quinoa, nuts. It's not going to be the same protein that you're experiencing now, potentially. I know my main protein foods are usually fish and chicken. I'd probably say those are my two, and eggs on the weekend, but it's usually fish and chicken during the weekdays. So I look to plant sources as well to kind of round out that plate of getting protein where I wouldn't necessarily expect to get protein. So beans and lentils are going to have just as much iron, similar iron content that our animal protein foods like chicken and turkey and beef. Tofu and tempeh, wonderful high protein sources that don't have any type of cholesterol associated with it. This is why I have a tofu meal probably every other week for lunch for at least 3 or 4 days. I usually get one of those big giant blocks and I will, bake it to a pulp in the oven, as I love crunchy tofu. And I'll pair it with some edamame and some cucumbers and some avocado. I probably have some variation of that meal every other week, because tofu is something that I can prepare one time on Monday, have it for the whole week, and I'm going to get a really big boost of protein. I'm not going to contribute any saturated fat to my intake, which animal proteins are usually contributing as well. Not a bad thing, of course, but of course, if we're managing our diabetes or our high cholesterol, we don't want to exceed and consistently exceed those limits. So I like having this as like a nice balance check of, yeah, I'm still going to eat those foods, but I want to get a really good protein boost where I can. And tofu is one of my go-to ways to do that. And edamame is a soy product. So of course, like if you have a frozen edamame in your freezer, which I highly recommend to have frozen foods in general that are plant-based in your fridge. I have berries, I have peas, I have edamame at any one time that I can add to a dish, a soup, a meal really quickly. Quinoa is one of those whole grains that has about, I believe, 5 grams of protein per cup, which is not nothing. 5 grams of protein is a good chunk for something that you're getting from a grain, where a refined carbohydrate like a white rice or like a refined pasta that's not a whole grain pasta, it's not going to have that protein content. It may have some, but it's not going to have as much as a whole grain. Again, I'm not, eliminating one type of grain from my diet. I do incorporate, white rice and regular pasta from time to time. But when I can get that extra boost, I love the whole grain options. I actually love the way that they taste. They're very nutty, a little bit deeper in flavor, which I'm a little bit more partial to. And of course, they're going to provide that complete amino acid profile throughout the day. Consider it a B12 supplement or consume vitamin B12 fortified foods if you are more of a vegan lifestyle. Breakfast cereals, nutritional yeast, plant-based milks would have some sort of vitamin B12 fortified food. I absolutely love nutritional yeast. I know it's kind of an out of left field recommendation, but it's very nutty. It's very cheesy. So there's a couple of recipes in our EatLove database that feature nutritional yeast instead of a cheese. I love it because you're going to get a protein boost. You're going to get a huge amount of boost of B12 vitamins, and I'm going to feel pretty well energized after because of it. Other nutrients to be considered are zinc, calcium, omega-3 fatty acids, and iodine. You can get all of these from your foods. By no means do you need to have a supplement for any of these, unless, of course, you've had your levels checked by your physician, your lab work has come back a little bit short, and it could be because you are eating a certain type of dietary. As always, these are very general nutrition sessions, so please check with your doctor for any lifestyle changes that you would want to make that would be kind of a 180 twist from where you are currently. Consume vitamin C rich foods alongside your iron rich foods because it helps iron absorption. So one of my favorite ways to do this is incorporate lemon juice in practically anything I'm eating, whether it's a salad, it's a marinade as part of my protein, but I am incorporating even the water that I'm drinking may have some lemon in it. But vitamin C alongside your iron food, your beans or your legumes, your animal proteins, your chicken, your beef, those have tons of iron in them, and you want to increase that iron absorption rate. And why that's important is, let's say you consume 18 milligrams of iron at your dinner because you had like a sirloin steak, and you only ended up absorbing 5 milligrams of it. It can be an autoimmune condition. It can be anything, in the myriad of different reasons as to why your body's not absorbing 100% of that. But to enhance that absorption, we want to pair it with its partner, its buddy that's going to make you absorb as much as you possibly can. And that's where a vitamin C rich food is going to be really helpful for an iron absorption. And then, of course, like I mentioned, monitor these nutrient levels periodically through blood tests and guidance from a dietitian, healthcare professional as needed. Delicia, great question. I will get to that when we are done with our slides for today before we flip over to our demo. As always, guys, if you have questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I will get through as many as I can through our talk today and through our demo. So everyone watching today, if you are on your phone, if you're on a computer, please screenshot this screen right here. If you're on a Mac, it would be Command-Shift-4. And then you would just scroll across, take a screenshot of that, because this is where you're going to be able to get those plant-based sources from these nutrients. So B12, your B12 fortified foods. We talked about breakfast cereals, plant-based milks, nutritional yeast. Iron you're going to get from lentils, beans, spinach, fortified cereals with that vitamin C rich food. Calcium, you're going to get green leafy vegetables. almonds, sesame seeds, fortified plant-based milks, and tofu. And non-plant-based source, of course, we're getting calcium from dairy products. So milk, cottage cheese, cow's milk rather, cottage cheese, yogurt, you're going to be getting your calcium through there as well. Omega-3 fatty acids, flax seeds, chia seeds, hemp seeds, walnuts, algae-based supplements. Of course, the biggest sources of omega-3 fatty acids are going to be your fatty fish, like your salmon, your mackerel, your tuna, which I love to incorporate at least one time a week in our house. Zinc, legumes, nuts, seeds, and whole grains, and iodine, iodized salt, and seaweed. All right. So plant-based meal planning and cooking tips. One of my favorite things is to batch cook for convenience. So plan and prepare larger quantities and staples like grains, beans, sauces during your weekly meal prep. If you can, and I'm guilty of not doing this every single week either, is to prep your vegetables ahead of time. You see, like in this lovely picture on the left-hand side, your carrots are coined, your peppers are sliced, your onions are also sliced. But having them stored in your Tupperware is going to cut down your cooking process. In fact, this is where I spend the most time in the kitchen if I'm making dinner that week, because I'm putting so many vegetables in my dishes. I'm absolutely complicating the process, but I want to get these nutrients. I want to get the phytochemicals. I want to get the antioxidants. So if I'm able to cut these on like a Sunday or even a Monday for the week and save them in Tupperware, I'm going to eat way more vegetables than I anticipated. I'm going to cut down on food waste. And I'm going to ensure that I am getting all of those wonderful benefits for my body, brain, and gut. So plan on using the healthy plate method. So this is what I mean by 75% of your plate being plants. So 50% fruits and vegetables. So just imagine this plate that we have right here. 50% of that automatically fruits and vegetables. 25% whole grains. It can be a brown rice, a quinoa, a farro, a buckwheat, a whole grain pasta even. And then we have that extra 25% that we're working with. Now, this is the difference between a vegan plan and more just plant-based, predominantly plant-based, where that 25% can be a protein of your choice. I'm not going to be, very strict on that because I personally follow the 75% lifestyle and have that animal protein there 2 to 3 times a week. It can be a plant-based protein. It can be a tofu. It can be a tempeh. It can be a bean or a legume. Doesn't have to be, but it can be, because we're going to get a lot of those plant-based foods that are good for our gut health. And then that last little bit there is that 5%. And usually this is how your vegetables are prepared, what you cook your protein in. So you never really have to say like, oh, I didn't get my 5% fats at my dinner, but you cooked your fish in a olive oil, or you cooked your vegetables, your broccoli in an olive oil. That 5% is going to be there through that cooking process alone. So it's really that 75% plants, whatever that protein is, can be plant-based, absolutely does not have to be. And then however you prepare your dish with a nice healthy fat, like I said, I'm partial to olive oil, lots of phytonutrients in there. Polyphenols rather is going to be the most content available in any type of oil. So getting yourself a good quality olive oil is always on my recommendation list. Embrace the variety and explore flavors. So keep your plant-based meals exciting. Experiment with different herbs and spices, different cuisine types. If you're looking for fun and interesting spice blends, you can buy those at the store. You can create your own. It's a really great way to get kids involved if you want to start them early, to start asking questions about how you pair certain foods together. I love spices. I love coming up with different combinations. I am truly just like over there, just whipping in whatever I possibly can. I am like, I don't know what this is going to taste like, but you cannot over season. I promise it's going to have some sort of really unique flavor combination to it. So don't be afraid to over season your vegetables, your proteins, your dishes, or anything like that. And then remember that flexibility and enjoyment is essential in maintaining a sustainable plant-based lifestyle. So let's answer. Oh, Laura, you missed the questions. So I recommend talking to the front desk, and they will be able to help you out with that to determine what type of membership you have. EatLove is included with Premium Plus memberships. And Alicia, so what do I think about smoothies? I love smoothies. I think smoothies are very beneficial to whatever you want to do in terms of health and wellness. There is a handful of smoothie recipes in the EatLove system, and I will show you where those are. But with any meal, a smoothie needs to be well balanced. I'm talking about all of my macros need to be present within that smoothie. So whether I'm eating a meal or I'm drinking my meal, the context of that meal is the same. That's 75% plants, and then whatever else I need to fulfill. And of course, I'm not grinding up chicken and putting it in a smoothie, but I can absolutely put spinach in a smoothie or an avocado or something else. But I want that to be plant-based. I want it to be as many plants as I can shove into a smoothie as possible, making sure that it's balanced still. Since I like having things that are balanced, I may be adding a protein powder to it or a collagen or something to it that I'm going to get a little bit more protein to it. So as long as it's following a very similar framework, by all means, enjoy smoothies. I definitely have them as part of my regular dietary intake. So YouFit's in-house nutrition program with EatLove, we are a personalized nutrition guidance for 24/7, every eating occasion, any situation. That includes restaurant meals, recipes that you're making at home, ready-made meals, and meal kits. We actually have over 150 popular restaurant chains built in the database that will show you how to eat at Starbucks, how to eat at Chipotle, what can you eat at, I'm trying to think of another really common one, Chick-fil-A. So how can you eat at those restaurants and still maintain your health and wellness goals, whether it's weight management and lowering your cholesterol or lowering your blood pressure or just getting more vegetables and building muscle at the same time. So we are a full stop shop. So that means grocery integration, delivery, nutrition analysis with food logging, our private Facebook community, of course, and then our monthly webinars, which all of you lovely people are attending today. So again, thank you for that. On the right-hand side here, you're going to see our Mediterranean farro salad, black bean taco skillet, tofu scrambled burrito, avocado chickpea salad sandwich, all completely plant-based dishes. Some of my favorite. I love the Mediterranean farro salads on my regular rotation, depending on what season we're in. And this black bean taco skillet is definitely going to be on my menu this fall because it's so warm and very inviting with a lot of nutrients in there. So I do want to share my screen. And we'll go through a little bit of the platform. If we have any time for questions at the end, I will be sure to get those. Yes, love Chick-fil-A. Me too. It's probably, we order probably once or twice a month. So I love going on here, figuring out what fits in my day and ordering based off that. So when you get your invite to EatLove, if you are a Premium Plus member or looking to join after our call today, you will complete your profile that will ask you what goal you have up in here. So this would show you your goals. You can change your goal however you want to do it. If you want a healthy diet, I recommend this one. It's a really great, well-balanced way to eat. And then of course you can program any type of weight management goal, whether it's weight loss, weight gain, maintain in with it. And then you're going to fill out the meal preferences. Who's eating what? Your family. Are they eating dinner together? Are you eating everything together? Do you have any food avoidances? What are your taste preferences, types of cuisine, milks and rice? And then you're telling the system, additionally, how often you're shopping, what type of kitchen equipment you're using. Do you want to see organic recipes or the recommendation to buy organic? Time to make meals, recipe preference, leftover preference, and your skill level. Based on all of that criteria, believe it or not, it's about 5 million different dietary and lifestyle factors. We're going to be giving you meal recommendations on demand. So what that means, and since we're on a desktop, I want to show you this view, is that this meal feed is always on. It is giving me a recommendation based on my health and wellness goals and my lifestyle preferences. I'm a big believer that lifestyle preferences are going to overshadow, and for good reason. It's our lifestyle, so we don't really want to change things that aren't, true to who we are individually, as in terms of how much time we have. The time really can't change. So if I'm getting, let's say I'm managing diabetes and I'm getting really complex recipes, I'm not, an expert chef. I've never really cooked a whole lot. And it's taking me an hour to make recipes with like 15 different ingredients. Probably not going to be managing my diabetes because I'm not going to be making these recipes. What we do is we meet you where you are in your lifestyle based on the amount of time you have, the types of recipes you want to see, your skill level, and everything in between. So here is what I would be able to eat on a Friday, or let's do Thursday, that fits my day. Now, let's say I want to swap for something else that matches my nutrition prescription. If I wanted to come down here and swap for a dinner, that's based on my nutrition requirements. So all of these meals fit my nutrition requirements. I'm choosing solely based on taste preference and maybe what I have in the kitchen already if I don't want to buy anything new. So there's going to be hundreds of options here that you can just keep searching. You can even use this search bar up here if you're looking for something specific. If I wanted to search for salmon specifically, I'd be able to do that, and I'd be able to see what comes up there. Maybe I want to throw that one on my dinner instead. So this is a list and a meal feed for you to engage with as much as you want to. You don't feel like you have to eat exactly what you have. You could skip meals. You can choose to do this berry overnight or this overnight cherry oats this week and this simple ham omelet. And I want this one and this one and this one. And you can pick as many meals that you want to add to your grocery list as you want. So in here in the swap, here's another swap option with restaurant meals. So with those 150 restaurant chains, I'm going to go to Sweetgreen and see what I can eat at Sweetgreen based on my day and what's recommended to me. So I have a handful of options that are green that are a perfect fit. And then I have some that are not a perfect fit, and I can learn why. So it'll teach you about nutrition of why things don't necessarily fit. So this is 70 milligrams of sodium over. As a dietitian, I'm not sweating this one a whole lot. You're allotted 2,300 milligrams for most of us on a daily basis. If I'm 70 milligrams over, I'm not stressing about this too much. Other meals may be slightly over. So this one's 430. Doesn't mean it's a bad choice, just may not be a great choice on this day if the day has already been planned, but by all means, it may fit in a different day if you go back and schedule it differently. So EatLove is helping you learn about how you can make things fit, eat in the moment, eat to your enjoyment, but bring more awareness to those choices so that you can choose confidently. Yes, Lori, this is part of YouFit. So if you have a Premium Plus membership, you are qualified to download your profile, download the app, and be able to access all of these recommendations through EatLove. Since we added a couple things to our grocery list, I have my grocery list over here. And while you're at the club and you're cooling down on the treadmill, you can analyze, fine-tune your grocery list for the week, check off things that you already have, add any a la carte items, get your family logged in and have them add their items, the RX bars, what other type of fruit and vegetables they're eating for breakfast, any types of additional snacks, make sure they're added to the list. And then you can buy online through one of our third-party integrations. I've been doing this for 10 years. I absolutely love ordering online. It really does save me 2 hours a week. Plan for about 10 minutes on a Saturday, and I don't really have to think about it after that. By Sunday morning, my groceries are there. I'm able to prep whatever I need for the week and then go through my plan, which is maybe 4 dishes that I've scheduled for. Gets me through 85% of my work week. The rest is usually leftovers or different creations that I've made from different parts of my leftovers. And it's a really great way to cut down on food waste as well. You can also pick these up online or take the app to the grocery store and check off as you go. Under meal search here, we have 7,500 dietitian approved recipes that are going to give you a balance of everything, your fruits, vegetables, your whole grains. They're coming directly from our database. So we had a question on smoothies. If I wanted to type in the word smoothie right in here, I'd be able to see 356 results for smoothies that are going to be really well balanced. So this blackberry smoothie, I can confirm, is absolutely delicious. And it is 267 calories, 20 grams of protein, 9 grams of fiber, 2.5 servings of fruit. I'd probably add some, a handful of spinach in here and get some vegetables to it. But you're able to see a whole bunch of options in here if you want to pair it as a snack or create it as an actual meal. And super, super cool, Lori. It is. So I am part of YouFit's in-house nutrition program. So we do the one-to-many options. And then you would join EatLove and it would provide that access to you. If you are interested in working with a dietitian, you can always shoot us over an email at support@eatlove.is for a referral to a registered dietitian, absolutely. But other than that, you will see me in our Facebook group and through these webinars like this, but we do not do one-on-one consults that I'm aware of at this time. All right, a couple other questions in here. Let's go back to the log. So if you were logging your food, you can do that right in here. We have an AI label reader. We have a barcode scanner that will connect to foods in our database, which is really awesome. So here's like a Kind bar that's branded food. and it will deduct your daily totals at the top, and you can see all that information. There's also an option up here that you'll see on your end that says export nutrition analysis. You're gonna get these really detailed reports that educate you on what your RDA is based on age and gender, your recommended daily allowance for that particular nutrient. So doing a 3-day food record of where you're just logging your food and seeing where you're doing really well or maybe where you're coming up short, it's eye-opening. I do it every new year. That's about as much as I'll do for food logging wise, but it's a really great way to do that. To do a question on what I think about peanut butter and chocolate, love them, eat them most days. Everything in moderation and balance. When you don't restrict yourself of any foods, you tend to have more power over the food than the food has over you. And it becomes something that you can live, sounds very cliche, harmoniously in the same space without having to stress over it. And you can eat based on your hunger and satiety cues. Mary, good question. I'd have to know a little bit more about specifics to recommend bars, but what I can say is I can recommend balance with those. So make sure that the bar has a balance of proteins, fats, and carbs. It's not just one or the other. Making sure that there is a good amount of each of those. Since there's so many on the market, way more than I can keep up with, I usually educate members on how to read nutrition facts labels. We have a whole suite of nutrition information in here as well. It's going to help guide you, the Nutrition Academy. If you wanted to learn more about the nutrition facts label, I do have a handout on that section over here. There's about 40 handouts in here, as well as cooking and knife skills videos that will teach you how to slice and dice and prepare anything that you could possibly think of in terms of the protein. So I am going to pause there for today because we're a little bit over time, but if you guys have any more questions, feel free to email support@eatlove.is. Any questions about that? But if you want to get started with EatLove, you can do so right at your home gym and get started today. But I will see you guys later. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Bye.